It felt like, are we
have, yeah. We have Mimosas. I told you guys I was going to video my boy that got me into personal development. But what you was going to say, though,
Cheers to Tony Robbins.
Yeah, Tony is the man, though.
No, I was just saying, I remember like it was yesterday, I had just started working at this company with him, and I had been telling him about personal development, and he's like, "Oh man, whatever you got, just bring it here." So he comes over to my car, and I pop the trunk, and I'm pulling out
the CDs,
the the Tony Robbins CDs. I had a couple books, and I
never did return the ones.
Yeah, never got those back.
But listen to this. This was funny though. I was telling everyone that YouTube wasn't a big thing. And you didn't have the internet on your phone to go on YouTube.
No.
So I had this what was that little iPod called with the little...
the Apple Shuffle. Yeah.
I had the Apple Shuffle, and I used to find free podcasts. Yeah. Because you only can put audio on there. I used to find free podcasts of Joyce Myers, because you turned me on to Joyce Myers. Yeah. You turned me on to Jim Rohn. Well, first you turned me on to Tony.
First it was Tony, then Jim Rohn.
No, Jim Rohn was like last. Jim Rohn's is like my best.
Yeah,
he's better. Zig Ziglar.
Yeah, meet me at the top.
See
you at the top.
Les Brown. Yeah. But Jim Rohn. Yeah. He's funny. Yeah. And it's just Jim Rohn's the best. Like he's my best guy, man. Yeah. Like I wouldn't,
Rest in peace.
And this before when we heard about what's the hip hop preacher? We didn't even have Eric Thomas. Yeah, we didn't even have Eric during that time. I mean, he probably was somewhere, but wasn't even known during that time, man.
He might have still been homeless at that time.
That's crazy, man. Yeah. But I remember, man, going into those banks, cleaning. I tried to make sure that we were working together. Yeah. Always, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. And look at I'm having the call come in. Look at that, man. Anyway, so
you had your shuffle, and I had like an MP3 player. We would switch them because you'd be on Zig Ziglar and I'd be on Jim Rohn, and then be like, "Oh, you got to hear this one." And it's crazy. At the end of the day, I mean, with all of it, it's needed. But I think the most important thing, I remember also being at the car saying, how do we say it? I said, hopefully 10 years from now, we're not still like high-fiving about this stuff, but you're not putting it to use. And, it just reminds me of, in the Bible it says, don't just be a hearer of the word, but be a doer of the word. Right. And so with all that stuff, it's good, but you can actually, just like you can get hooked on ESPN and be a fan of NBA or NFL or anything else, you can be a fan of personal development and rah-rah. And rah-rah. And you actually, you almost deceive yourself because you listen to it and you felt like, okay, I did my thing for the day. I did my thing to build myself up. But actually, the rah-rah is only good if you do it. So you need it because, I think it can produce the actions, but yeah, at the end of the day, you still got to do it. And what I've been thinking about lately in this last couple of weeks is that book, Think and Grow Rich. It talks about the power of desire. And any action, if you think about anything you've done in your life, whether it's for 3 months you just hit the gym and got in really good shape, or you started a business and you really started taking off. In the beginning, it always takes a lot of desire. You have to really, really, really want something because anything you want to achieve is going to take a lot of pain and sacrifice. And then you got to keep that desire burning, because what if you get the six-pack and now you're kind of like, okay, people start complimenting you, and all of a sudden, right? You don't feel bad anymore about being overweight or whatever. All of a sudden now people start complimenting you, and you're and you're like, all right, don't need to go to the gym anymore. Or maybe you have some success and you start making some money, and now that alleviates some pain. So now it's like, oh, I'm not gonna do these things that got me here in the first place.
Right, you forget, yeah. But you know, also too is I just did a video recently where we go through these little spells of being motivated, and then we're almost pictures we being motivated in a space where we just can't take that action that we need to, right? We can't, like I say, you're motivated when you're driving, right? You're driving to a location. So you can't stop and do a bunch of emails that you need to do to get your business to the next level, or that you can't sit at the computer and start typing out stuff, right? So we get motivated in these little windows where we can't apply the actions we need to take, right?
Yeah.
But once we get to the place where we have the time to apply them, we just don't do it.
Now you're not motivated.
Now you're not motivated no more. But I think a lot of it is we don't break it down into smaller bite-sized pieces. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go do that with Shine over here, and then I'm like, oh wow, that's huge. Instead of just doing like, You remember the mastermind group?
Oh.
At the library? No, we go to
Barnes and Noble over off of
in Santa Ana.
Yeah, Santa Ana.
We used to read a chapter of the book, and then, or it was any book actually. You can actually read your own
talk
book.
about what you learned that week.
Yeah.
That lasted about 6 weeks, maybe.
That was pretty interesting.
But it's interesting when you think of that. I think we can all say whether, I use fitness a lot because I think everybody at some point has, thought, oh, I want to lose 20 pounds, or I want to bulk up, or I want to do this, or I'm going to this wedding, or I'm going on spring break, or whatever it is. But there's things that we've all accomplished in our life or a short window of time, and we didn't have to read a book. We didn't have to listen to a CD. It was something that we wanted inside so much that the second you step foot out of bed in the morning, that's the only thing you thought about all day. And when you went to bed, that's what you went to bed thinking about. And so that's why I'm a big believer. I love, instead of watching dramas or instead of watching just Netflix or whatever, I think Tony Robbins and those guys are 10 times better than all of it, and they'll motivate you. But I think with all of that, you still have to have that desire from within, screaming so loud that every day when you wake up and you could spend 3 hours on YouTube or 2 hours on Facebook or, going out to the bar or what have you with your time, that voice is so loud inside, like, no, you can't. You have to do this because of this. That's...
Working out is that trigger for you? The working out is the voice that screams the loudest for you?
For me?
Yeah.
Oh, obviously. No, but I can think. That's good. No, I mean, I think. The thing that there has been three times in my life over let's say the last 15 years where something very specific happened. Mm-hmm. For example, when I was a senior in high school, I put a group of 6 of us together. We went to Cancun, Mexico on spring break, and I was like a beanpole, tall, skinny kid, and we go to this nice hotel, and everybody there looked like they just walked out of like a swimsuit catalog, just. The guys 6 packs and the girls were all fit and everything else, and I just felt super, just like insecure or whatever. Right. And it's still a fun trip, but I just remember being like, man, if I ever come back here, I'm going to get in shape because I want to feel good while everybody else is in shape. So the next year we went to Cancun again, and I remember 4 months before Cancun, I remember because I knew that in 3 to 4 months you could legit change your body.
Right.
You're not going to become the Hulk, but you can look a lot better. And so 4 months before that spring break, man, I started taking protein powders and creatine, and I was waking up at 4 o'clock in the morning. I was the first one at the gym, and I was putting it in. And then after about, 3, 4, 5 weeks, you start feeling good about yourself. So now you're walking around the apartment with your shirt off, and your roommates are telling you to put your shirt on. And So, you know, but I just remember every morning I woke up, there was times where you woke up, you're like, oh man, I don't want to wake up at 4. But I just remember the pain from being in Cancun. And so the pain of that was actually greater than the pain of waking up that morning. You know, and then fast forward, there's different times where it's happened, but then you get to that part where like people start complimenting you and you start feeling good about yourself, and then you take a week or 2 off, and then it's almost impossible to get back at it.
Right.
So, you know, it's just for me that'd be fitness or whatever, and but for some people it's making money or business or a relationship or you know what have you. But yeah, it's crazy. Well, even Tony Robbins, he talks about when you wake up in the morning and you're nice and cozy in your bed and your sheets and it's warm and it's cold outside. You have to go to the bathroom so bad, but you're like, man, it's cold out there. I'm going to stay into my sheets. And so you stay there for another 20 minutes and then another 20 minutes until finally you have to go to the bathroom so bad. It's actually more painful to sit in your bed than just go to the bathroom. Or whether it's studying for a test or whatever, you wait last minute until the pain is greater not doing it than it is just doing it.
Right.
So, I think everything sums down to that. I think it's just... I think it comes down to pain and pleasure, you know, and you got to get to the point where it's actually more painful not to take action than it is just to take action.
Just to take it out.
But
all right, I'm gonna end this here. What do you want to say to my subscribers? What's one thing you want to give them? What's the insight putting you on the spot?
Tyrone is the real deal.
Okay,
no,
we end it like that. That's it.
It's good. It's good getting back with my bro here. We've laughed a lot over the last. It's been about 10 years.
It's 10 years.
10 years, yeah. So, yeah, man, we've had some good times. We laughed and had gone through some things and had some deep conversations and you know, I've even had dreams with running a business and starting a business, and gosh, I want to say that was almost 5-6 years ago. Yeah, I had an event where I was trying to put on a basketball event.
I didn't think this was going to come out.
Yeah, well, it means a lot. I'm trying to hold back the tears because you know, when you're starting out with something and you're trying to grow and what you have maybe isn't to anybody else. They don't see anything there.
Right.
I was trying to organize this basketball event, and I did.
Yeah, you did.
I organized it, you know, and I invited a bunch of people, and like nobody showed up, and just like 5 or 6 of my friends, my close friends showed up, and Tyrone was one of them, and definitely appreciate that.
It was a good night.
Yeah,
man.
well, actually, yeah. So nobody showed up. Here's a good story of faith, and I'll make it really short. But I had this basketball event. It was like a 3-point shootout, and I invited. Not enough people, but I invited some people that said they were coming and they didn't show up. And so it was basically myself and like 5 or 6 other friends that showed up to help run the tournament. Literally not one person, not one customer showed up. And we were at this gym that was a large gym. And
you had to rent that space too,
yeah,
right?
I had to rent. It was like $75 an hour. Yeah. And so it was like this gym where there's other courts inside this gym. And so there's these leagues going on. And none of my people showed up. We were about ready to wrap it up. And I remember thinking like, all right, I'm about ready to tell my friends, you know, you can go home. Nothing's happening here. And this kid just walks by. And he was like, hey, what's going on over here? And I was just about to say, oh, we were going to have a basketball shootout, but nobody showed up. But before I said that, I actually said, oh, we're having a basketball shootout and the winner gets $100. It just came out of my head. And he was like, really? Can I tell my friends about it? And next thing you know, we had like 30 people there shooting. Yeah. And so talk about faith. You know, it's like I had that tournament. I told my roommates at the time, I planned a date. And I said, oh, yeah, I'm having a tournament on this day. I had nothing planned for it. Nothing set up. But because I had told them, I was like, well, I can't go back on it now because I'm going to look stupid.
Oh, right.
So I just went through with it and not knowing how it was going to happen. And obviously nobody showed up. And then it just worked out that because we were there at the right time, at the right place, 30 people came and played in that tournament.
I remember.
Yeah.
I remember that.
And you ran around, you're motivating people.
Yeah,
like,
passing the ball.
Yeah.
And
So that was a good experience.
Time, man.
So good friend here, motivated, and definitely on to big things. So
That's good.
Nothing but good things to say about Tyrone.
Thank you, man. Thank you. All right, we're gonna end it there. Have a good one. Remember, hustle hard, then hustle harder. See you on the next one.